Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase. Listen to what I'm about to tell you. The window to invest in Fanbase is closing. We've raised over $10.6 million of our $17 million goal. That means there's room for less than 6,370 people to invest in Fanbase for the average amount. The minimum to invest in Fanbase right now is $399. That makes you an owner in Fanbase today. Go to startengine.com/fanbase to invest. Why? Because current social apps have taken advantage of users for far too long, with content suppression, shadow banning, harmful racist content, and no real tools for monetization and equity. Fanbase has over 1.4 million users and counting, allowing anyone to reach all their following and monetize their content from day one. Social media is the new TV, and whoever owns the apps that distribute that content have the opportunity to own potential billion-dollar companies. While big platforms with uncertain futures are failing to serve their users, Fanbase is stepping up to fill the gap. Don't wait until it's too late. Invest now, invest for yourself and your future. Go to startengine.com/fanbase and own the next generation of social media.
Folks, Black Star Network is here.
Hold no punches.
I'm real revolutionary right now.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
Stay black. I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, this difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig? Today is Wednesday, April 2nd, 2025. Coming up on Roland Martin Unfiltered, streaming live on the Black Star Network. Donald Trump kicks in his massive tariffs. Guess what? Stock market is falling through the floor. Also, massive layoffs are happening all over the federal government, including every single worker who's responsible in the Department of Health and Human Services for helping low-income people pay their bills. And I told you these people were in no ways pro-life at all. How many times I'm going to tell you? Democrats experienced big victories on Tuesday nights. Republicans won congressional races in Florida. And guess what? What happened to all of those stories about how bad Democrats are doing? There you go. Elon Musk, why did he spend all that money in Wisconsin? Well, he says that he wanted to stop the Democrats from gerrymandering. Oh, he got it wrong. That's Republicans. Town Dolton, Illinois. Guess what? They've got a new mayor after the disaster of Tiffany Henyard. She's now gone. And Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren has launched an investigation into the Department of Education's plan to replace call centers with chatbots. Really? We'll also show you the moment when the Education Secretary, Linda McMahon, you know, the wrestling woman, she decided to crash a Democratic press conference. Well, she got hit with some questions. She couldn't really answer them. Plus, the countdown is on in St. Louis for the mayoral election. We'll discuss Black PAC's endorsement of incumbent Mayor Tishaura Jones. Folks, it is time. Oh, and we do have the Crockett Chronicles. Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. Oh, did she bring the heat for Attorney General Pam Bonding? And she called crooked ass Elon Musk. It's time to bring the funk. I'm Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Let's go.
He's got it. Whatever the biz, he's on it. Whatever it is, he's got the scoop, the fact, the find. And when it breaks, he's right on time and it's rolling. Best believe he's knowing. Putting it down from sports to news to politics. With entertainment just for kicks, he's rolling. It's on go, roll, roll, y'all. It's Roland Martin, rolling with Roland now. He's funky, he's fresh, he's real, the best, you know he's Roland Martin now.
Folks, huge election last night. Big wins for Democrats in Wisconsin. Sarah Crawford beat back Brad Schimmel, the former Republican Attorney General. Elon Musk dropped some $20 million trying to get Schimmel on the Supreme Court. She dog-walked his ass in the election last night. Not only that, Democrats did well all across the state. They flipped several positions. They flipped the mayor's office. Also in Aurora, Illinois, you had an African-American who was elected mayor of a city in Wisconsin. Democrats also won multiple other positions in Wisconsin. Republicans won the 2 congressional seats in Florida, but they only won by 15 points in districts Donald Trump carried by 30 points. Folks, so all of these stories, how the Democratic brand is so toxic and dead, that's interesting because they seem to be winning these special elections. So what the hell is going on? They win a Republican seat in Iowa, a state seat. They win a state seat in Pennsylvania, a district Trump won by 30 points. And so y'all, I keep telling y'all why a lot of these polls are absolutely BS, absolutely BS. Again, a huge night last night for Democrats. And what you saw is you saw people who were turning out in huge numbers. The folks at boltsmag.org, they really do a great job covering a lot of these local elections, these elections of states' attorneys, DAs, things along those lines. And one of the things that they laid out is that they also were watching a race in Alaska as well, okay? But this is not the only thing that's going on. What we are seeing, folks, we are seeing a number of elections. Now, remember, Vice President Kamala Harris, she lost November 5th, 3 days later, people were telling me, they were like, well, they were like, hey, you know, damn, Doc, you moved on. I said, no, I'm focused on the next thing. So what were we telling y'all on this show? We were telling y'all, focus on Louisiana amendments. What happened on Saturday? All 4 went down, got crushed, 65-35. One lost, 66-34. What did we tell y'all? Focus on the special elections in Florida. And guess what happened? Again, even though those were ruby red districts, Democrats actually ran credible candidates who raised lots of money. They knocked on doors. They actually organized and mobilized. When you cut somebody in half, again, Trump won it by 30 points and the Republicans win by 15, there's a problem here. Then you start talking about what I tell y'all. Stop talking about 2028. Stop talking about 2026. Focus on 2025. What's happening next Tuesday, St. Louis? Mayoral race in St. Louis. Go to my iPad, Anthony. This is right here what Bolt's bag has. Also on the menu in April, there's several mayoral contests in places like Jackson, Mississippi, St. Louis. Also, you have Barbara Lee running for mayor in Oakland as well. So you got 20 different elections. You've got elections taking place. Oh, last night, that was a Democrat who flipped to Republican in Nebraska. That Democrat flipped to a Republican, ran for mayor of Omaha. His ass lost last night. So that's happening there as well. And so go back. You see right here, you've got St. Louis and San Diego, elections on April 8th, Oakland, April 15th, legislative races in Mississippi on April 15th, Connecticut on April 22nd. All of this matters, folks, because what am I always saying? We must not be so focused on the loss. Bottom line is Vice President Kamala Harris lost. Now, how do you rebuild? How do you get people focused on what's right in front of them? That is what's most important. And all too often, folk don't do that. They're so caught up in emotion. And you know, I had somebody, y'all gonna love this here. You know what says, I'm gonna go ahead and do it, you know, because I'm petty like that. You know, I get a kick out of people who complain about certain things. And so there was somebody who got upset at me, y'all. Because remember last night I was telling y'all, and how many times have I also said on this show that I don't want to hear this stuff about, oh my God, we tired, we sitting out. All these people who are saying, oh, there's going to be this indivisible massive protest happening on Saturday. And you know what, black people, we should just sit this out and go line dancing. And I keep saying, no, hell no. I'm like, we got to be engaged. We got to be focused. We have to be locked and loaded in terms of what's going on. And so I got this on Blue Sky today. There's this sister, I think she's a professor at a college. Her name is Cheryl Neely. And here's the deal. When you send me tweets and stuff publicly, it's public. So this is what she sent me. She said, you really need to stop criticizing black people for refusing to show for protests. It disturbs me deeply that you, of all people, don't understand that standing back is to prevent Trump's justification for martial law and use of force. He will not attack whites. He's waiting for us. Okay, so that's what was sent out. And so, you know, my response was, you really need to stop trying to tell me what to say on my show. I mean, bottom line is, I'm gonna say what the hell I want to say on my show. I'm gonna say what I think needs to be said. And then, so she then said, I used to watch your show and was a subscriber. Your arrogance and rudeness is why I will no longer. I was talking about you, not your guest. Well, not a problem, Cheryl. Y'all, I responded, and that is your right. In the last month, Roland Martin Unfiltered, subscribers are up 100,000 and donations are up 200%. We'll be just fine doing what has made us so successful. We appreciate your feedback. And I posted a photo of me smiling. Now, why did I respond that way? And let me be perfectly clear. If any of y'all have a problem with what I have to say, you actually don't have to watch. And I'm fine with that. Nobody is forced to watch this show. Nobody is forced to give. Nobody is forced to comment. But the reason I have taken that position, the reason why I have said repeatedly, this is not a moment, let me say it again, this is not a moment where we rest, because there were people who came before us who were also disappointed. Last night, I showed you the images on the night of April 4th, 1968, where the lieutenants of Dr. King were sitting there on the beds in the Lorraine Motel. They were sitting on the bed that Dr. King last slept in. Reverend Abernathy was across from him. King had just been assassinated, had just been murdered before their very eyes. They were in shock, but they were planning what to do next in Memphis. See, this is not a moment where we can check out. Oh, let me be real clear. I understand rest and relaxation. Harry Belafonte talked about it in his book, where he sent John Lewis and Fannie Lou Hamer and some other civil rights workers on a trip to Africa so they can have a vacation. Absolutely, that's important. We need our freedom fighters to have rest, to revitalize. But what I need us to understand, that in this moment, when you have a thug 2 blocks from here, sitting in the Oval Office, creating mayhem, how do you fight back? You do not fight back by not showing up. You do not fight back by not being part of the process. We were highly critical on this show of African Americans who failed to turn out in the election that elected Jeff Landry, the MAGA governor of Louisiana, even with a black candidate running on the Democratic side. But black folks got the message. Power Coalition, Gary Chambers and others hit the pavement, did town halls. Black folks showed up, represented 37% of all voters in early voting. That's how those constitutional amendments got defeated. And so what I need us to understand, that I'm not having a Democrat-Republican conversation right now. I'm having a black conversation. And if you're not black, I'm having a conscious conversation. And what I'm saying is, this is a moment. We saw what happened. Trump is going to be there for 4 years. But guess what? He can be stopped. He can be stopped by taking the House and the Senate next year. See, so I don't care. If you're one of those folks and you mad, you don't like that, oh, I said people be hitting me up. Roland, are you resting on April 5th? No. Should we rest? If you don't want to protest on April 5th with indivisible, that's fine with me. But you know what you should be doing in St. Louis on April 5th? You should be hitting the pavement for Tishaura Jones, the first black woman elected mayor in St. Louis, who's going up against the white Democratic establishment in St. Louis on Tuesday, and they want Kara Spencer to become the mayor. That has to happen. In the fall, you may have the first non-black mayor in New Orleans for quite some time. See, I need folk to understand, and you heard me say this numerous times, voting in elections is not the be-all to end-all. I do not believe, nor have I ever believed, that voting solves everything. But voting does speak to power. We see what Trump is doing with that power. We see what Mike Johnson is doing with that power. We see what Republicans in the Senate are doing with that power. But what happens when you don't vote and your person loses? Then you don't have power. We saw last night what happened. Why is Wisconsin so critically important? Because now Democrats have a 4-3 majority on the state Supreme Court. Now in Wisconsin, you control the courts. Because if she had lost, it will be 3 Republicans, 3 Democrats, and the swing vote is actually a conservative who sometimes votes with the liberals. Now you got a 4-3 majority. Why is Allison Riggs' race in North Carolina so important? Political sisters on our panel, we'll get to her in a second. Why is that race so important? Because her victory is affirmed. It's 5-2. 5 Republicans, 2 Democrats. Next year, Anita Earls, black woman, up for re-election. Got to hold her seat, 5-2. Why is it important? 2028, 3 of these 5 Republicans are on the ballot. Why are we talking about how do we mobilize and organize? because Ossoff is on the ballot in Georgia next year. Hold the seat. Okay, so what if the governor of Georgia, hugely popular, what if he runs and wins? That's why it's most important to organize and mobilize black people in North Carolina, beat Tom Tillis. See, I need our people to understand what is happening here. We literally have power if we use the power. Checking out does not guarantee you power. Checking in does. And they are scared to death of that. This Wisconsin election. Why was it important? Oh, Elon understood it. Because there's a lawsuit against Elon's company Tesla in Wisconsin. He needed Republicans to win. But he went on Fox News and he talked about why he was spending so much money. Listen to what he said.
A small thing, and it's happening ironically, of course, on April Fool's Day. This is not an April Fool's joke. This is very real. So a judge race election in Wisconsin will just... Democrats can gerrymander Wisconsin in order to remove 2 House seats from Republican to Democrat. Because of the razor-thin margins in the House, that would mean potentially a flip of the House from Republican to Democrat. That means at the next election, roughly less than 2 years from now, the House will then immediately take action to stop the president's agenda. And it's always worth reminding people the president would razor-thin margins in the House. That would mean potentially a flip of the House from Republican to Democrat. That means at the next election, roughly less than 2 years from now, the House will then immediately take action to stop the president's agenda. And it's always worth reminding people the president was elected with a majority of the people of America, a meaningful majority of the popular vote. So all the president is trying to do is implement the will of the people. And they're trying to stop the will of the people through judicial trickery. And in fact, in general, there is a huge problem with activists that are actually politicians in judges' robes. And that needs to stop. It's undermining the integrity, the reality, and the perception of the integrity of the legal system of the United States. And these fake judges should be ashamed of themselves. They're just pretending to be judges, but they are not. They're making the law instead of implementing the law. It's wrong.
Yes, and they're activists. And you say that you can both register and vote today?
Yes, you can both register and vote today. And the voting stations close at 8 p.m.
That was before the election. His ass got his ass handed to him. So allow me to unpack that. In fact, that was in an interview with Gene Pirro. He repeated this when he interviewed Brett Baer. Listen.
You're still involved in politics. You were big in the election, obviously in Pennsylvania. Now, I guess you're in the Wisconsin Supreme Court race. Why plug in?
Well, the Democrats are trying to redraw the districts in Wisconsin. And we're trying to stop the Democrats from gerrymandering Wisconsin to remove 2 House seats. That's what this whole Supreme Court justice case is about. So I really want to emphasize to people out there, if you're in Wisconsin, go out and vote. You can do early voting for the Supreme Court. If you have friends and family in Wisconsin, please urge them to vote for Brad Schimmel. If we don't, we could lose control of the House, and all of the government reforms could be shut down.
Finally, what's the biggest...
Elon Musk is a lying son of a bitch. The Democrats are trying to gerrymander Wisconsin. Really? Anthony, go to my iPad. Stories dated November 25th, 2024. Wisconsin's GOP tilted congressional map results in representative delegation. Headline: the state's legislative maps signed by Governor Tony Evers in February closely reflected the will of the voters, but Republicans won 75% of the state's U.S. House seats. See, let me help y'all out with something. And we're going to go to Eugene in a second, to our panel in a second, and he knows this. He's a Republican. Wisconsin was ground zero for political gerrymandering. Let me tell you what the Republicans did. And you know who busted them on this here? And I think it was either in the New Republic or it was either in the New Republic or it was in the Nation. A Republican busted them. What the Republicans did was, there was a particular white Republican, and what they would do, and he went around the state. He died. The only reason we know what happened, because his daughter, who was a progressive, got his computer and she released the data. They were using computers and algorithms to actually draw lines in order for them to win. We've seen this in Ohio. Now see, I need y'all to understand politics. Normally when you see a congressional map, pretty much they're drawn, and we covered this before, in Louisiana. I mean, pretty much they're connected. Let's go to Ohio. This is Jim Jordan's congressional district. I want to show y'all what it looks like. Come on, pull the graphic up, guys. Y'all see this? Y'all see how this is drawn? This district is drawn like a snake in order to connect Republican voters and to freeze out likely Democratic voters to guarantee Jim Jordan is elected. That's how they also do it in Wisconsin. So what the let me tell you how the Republicans, how cold they were. What the Republicans did was they actually got together with the computer and they spit these maps out. They allowed the House and the Senate members in Wisconsin to go into a room, a secure room, no windows, to look at the maps. They had to sign in and sign out. Here's what this story right here says, and I'm going to go to it right here. Story says that Wisconsin voters split almost evenly in the November 2024 presidential and Senate elections. Both races decided by less than 1% of the vote. Now, why is that? Now you're like, well, hold up, wait a minute, hold up. Less than 1%? This is the whole state. It's the whole state. That means that Wisconsin, very competitive state between Democrats and Republicans. So I'm confused. How then, back to my iPad, Anthony, how then, though, in the congressional races, could you have Republicans winning 75% of the House seats? See, this is why Elon Musk is a liar. What happened was the Republicans politically gerrymandered the state House and the state Senate seats, and then they gerrymandered the congressional seats. I'm going to pull out. I need to stand up for this, y'all. Because see, you got to understand how evil these people are. So what they did was they gerrymandered the maps. So what happens, the Democrat in Wisconsin wins the Supreme Court race. The progressives in Wisconsin sue. As a result of the progressives suing, the state maps got overturned. That was the map that the governor put in place. Now, here you go. The state's congressional lines, adopted in 2022 by the Wisconsin Supreme Court, were proposed by Democratic Governor Tony Evers after a conservative majority on the court insisted that the redistricted maps make the least changes possible from the existing 4-2 GOP map. 6-2. Okay, let me explain, y'all. 6-2. So now you're like, okay, I don't understand. That's a four vote margin. Republicans right now hold the House by 3 votes. I'm going to bring this to North Carolina because I need y'all to understand how this works. Now you're understanding how a state controls the congressional map. So now the state legislators control who's in power in D.C. So when Elon, they want to change the maps. Yes. Because as opposed to Republicans having a 6-2 majority, Democrats say, let's create maps where they're even. And guess what? Whoever wins, wins. It might be 3-3. So check this out. Go back to my iPad. Look at this here. Both the Assembly and the Senate maps receive A grades from the Gerrymandering Project with praise for their partisan fairness. Let me tell you how bad it used to be. It used to be that Democrats could win 55% of all the votes in Wisconsin, and they would still be in the minority in the state house and the state senate. Did you hear what I just said? And not just in the minority, they had a supermajority. The only way that happens is through political gerrymandering. Now you might be saying, well, I don't understand. Supreme Court, Chief Justice John Roberts, in a decision based on a lawsuit from Wisconsin, said, Supreme Court, we got no role in political gerrymandering. That's left up to the states. Need y'all to hear me. So if political gerrymandering is now left up to the states, that means the state house, the state senate, the governor, they draw the maps. The only people that can stop them from gerrymandering the maps is the state Supreme Court. Do y'all now see why Elon dropped $20 million? Because now they know. The Democrats are going to file a lawsuit to change the congressional maps. That might lead to 1 to 2 Democratic pickups in Wisconsin and puts them closer to controlling the House and Hakeem Jeffries being Speaker of the House. You want to see the result? Go to my iPad, Anthony. Right here. With the new state maps in place, Democrats gain 10 assembly seats, leaving Republicans with a 54 to 45 majority. They also picked up 4 Senate seats, resulting in an 18 to 15 Republican majority. 16 of the chamber's 33 seats were on the ballot in 2024. The other 17 will be up for a vote in 2026. Elon Musk is a liar. Elon Musk wanted Republicans to continue to be able to control the Supreme Court so they could control gerrymandering. And you know what Republicans in Wisconsin did when Tony Evers replaced Scott Walker as governor? Scott Walker, Republican, Tony Evers, Democrat. They stripped power from Governor Evers. Oh, guess what? Lieutenant Governor of Wisconsin stripped his powers. Oh, the Secretary of State of Wisconsin was a Democrat. The Attorney General was a Democrat. Oh, wait a minute, hold up. Democrats won all of those statewide seats? How could they keep losing the House and the Senate? How could they keep losing congressional seats? Because of gerrymandering. Guys, you can't gerrymander a statewide election, but you can gerrymander, political or racial gerrymander, congressional seats, state house, state senate. So now let me go to North Carolina. Why is this so critically important? Because that's what Republicans did in North Carolina. Republicans in North Carolina had a 10-3 majority. Bishop William Barber, others fought it. Democrats got control of the governor's mansion, but more importantly, they got control of the state Supreme Court. That's when Sherry Beasley was Chief Justice. Democrats control it. They rule against racial gerrymandering, and guess what happened? In North Carolina, it went from a 10-3 Democrat-Republican majority to 7-7. Do the math, y'all. That's 4 seats. Guess what? Sheri Beasley ran for chief. She was appointed Chief Justice. The white Republican got mad because he thought he was in line. Election time, Beasley runs statewide. The Republican beats her. Had she won, Democrats could have had a 6-1 majority in the state Supreme Court. I'm gonna make it even worse for a political system. Knows this. We're gonna go to her in a second. The Republicans were so pissed off, they tried to take, y'all, the Supreme Court is the highest court in the state. They tried to take the power for the state Supreme Court and give it to a lower court because Republicans control the lower court. How you gonna take the power of the highest court in the state and give it to the one underneath them? That's like saying, CEO, we're gonna take your power and we're gonna give it to somebody who's underneath you. Guess what? When Beasley lost, Democrats had a 4-3 majority. The next election, it flipped, 4-3 Republican. The next election, 5-2. So guess what happened? The Republicans politically gerrymandered the districts in North Carolina. Supreme Court couldn't stop them. The Republican Supreme Court allowed it to happen, and that's why it's now 10-3 in North Carolina. Boom, right here. Anatomy of a North Carolina gerrymander. A new congressional map takes the Tar Heel state from having one of the fairest maps in the country to its most biased, and voters of color are among the big victims. This is a piece from the Brennan Center. This is October 2023. What does it say? When states redrew congressional maps after the 2020 census, North Carolina was one of the nation's big success stories. That's not because lawmakers drew fair maps. They drew what would have been one of the most extreme gerrymanders in the country. Rather, North Carolina was a success because a majority of the North Carolina Supreme Court, relying on state law, ruled that drawing maps to entrench the party in charge violated the state constitution. As a result, the maps changed. Boom. What did I just lay out to y'all? After Republican candidates won 2 seats on the North Carolina Supreme Court in 2022 midterms, giving the court a conservative majority, Republican lawmakers wasted no time in asking the court to reverse earlier rulings that partisan gerrymandering violated the state constitution. The court's new majority obliged, handing down a controversial opinion in late spring that abruptly abandoned any role for state courts in policing gerrymandering, declaring that gerrymandering claims were non-justiciable political questions off limits to judiciary. Are you serious? So basically what the Republicans in North Carolina did was the same thing John Roberts did. Oh, no. Roberts said, no, not on us, it's the state. Now he's like, well, they ain't us, it's the legislature. Total BS. Why am I unpacking all of this? Because those 4 seats in North Carolina, combined with 2 or 3 in Wisconsin, is the difference between Democrats controlling the House and Republicans controlling the House. It's the difference between a Speaker Mike Johnson and a Speaker Hakeem Jeffries. See, now y'all understand why Elon spent $20 million in Wisconsin. I need y'all to understand something right now. Republicans are about to dump. Why is that judge fighting Allison Riggs so hard? Because they want a 6-1. And then they're going to try to take out Anita Earls next year. Y'all, these racists were so bad, Anita Earls gave an interview talking about the lack of people of color working in the court system. These racist Republicans in North Carolina launched an investigation and wanted her to be removed from her position, not because she actually violated the law, not because she was doing wrong, but because she gave her own opinion in a damn interview. So somebody's watching me right now, and somebody is saying, okay, Roland, I get all that. That sounds like a whole bunch of minutia. It is. But all this stuff happening in D.C. right now, that's what happens when it's political gerrymandering on the local level. All the stuff happening in D.C., that's what happens when the people who control the state house are in charge. Why is the next presidential election so important? 2028. Whoever wins the White House in 2028 controls the census count in 2030. Republicans, remember when Trump was there last time? What did they do? They cut the census short. They changed how the counting. They did not want to count everybody. Oh, now you're like, well, hold on. And I'm also confused because what you also have to understand is that when we talk about 2030, whatever happens in 2030, whatever happens in 2030 is going to impact this. Because after the census is taken in 2030, it's projected California, Wisconsin, you see right here, California has 54 delegates. That's 54 congressional districts. Wisconsin has 10. Wisconsin has 10 congressional districts. You see it right here. Guess what? That's congressional districts. That's electoral college votes. You see New York State? New York State has 28. It is estimated that New York State, Wisconsin, California, and I think Illinois has 19. Those 4 states are likely going to lose collectively 10 to 12 congressional districts because of population shifts. That's 10 to 12 electoral college votes. That means that if Democrats rely on blue New York State, rely on Wisconsin, rely on Illinois, and rely on California, they're now going to have to go find 12 electoral college votes elsewhere, which means they must win Nevada and Arizona. That's 17 electoral college votes. Okay, let's say they don't win one of those. That means they've got to flip North Carolina, 16 electoral college votes. Georgia, 16 electoral college votes. In fact, because of population shifts, y'all, Georgia or North Carolina could actually increase congressional districts. I hope all of you now understand that all of these things are linked. That a single Supreme Court seat in Wisconsin could determine in 2026 whether there's a Speaker, Hakeem Jeffries. A Supreme Court flipping from red to blue in North Carolina could also change as well. Now, this is why I talk about you have to connect the dots. You have to connect the dots. This is why when that sister was like, you telling people, this is why we can't sit out. This is why we can't stay at home. This is why we can't check out. Because they are relying on us not showing up. They are relying on us being so despondent, so sad, so depressed that we check out. Elon Musk said in that interview, Donald Trump got a majority of American votes. That is a lie. He did not even get 51% because some 90 million Americans did not vote. He did not get a majority of the American voters. And so people need to understand that he won with fewer votes than he should have. 6 million people who supported Biden didn't show up for Harris in 2024. What we are witnessing with the cuts and everything, this is the result of checking out. This is the result of trying to find the perfect candidate. This is the result of, well, I disagree with them on this one thing, so I'm not going to vote. This is the result of somebody saying, well, you know what? I don't think our vote matters, so I'm not going to vote. Like that 39-year-old black female teacher's aide in Milwaukee, the New York Times talked to. Folks, here we are talking about massive tariffs being instituted. Here we are. I got a phone call today from a federal worker. Hey, told my job is one of the ones they targeting. Should I take this buyout or risk it? Massive amounts of people losing jobs, getting fired, services getting cut. They cut food aid. Food trucks were on their way delivering food to multiple states, stopped them. That is the result of us sitting out and checking out. So excuse the fuck out of me, Cheryl, if I tell people absolutely do not check out. Scientists are being fired from the CDC. Scientists are being fired from the Health and Human Services. People that protect our water, our food supply, are getting fired to give oligarchs and billionaires more tax cuts. And you want to trip because you don't like me saying people shouldn't be checking out? There ain't a black person in America who can afford to sit on the sideline. Oh, I know we got some folk with money. I know Adam Pac-Man Jones is MAGA. I know the other fool, AB. I know Le'Veon Bell, these other little people, these other little folk running around. No, y'all. This is not the moment. This is not the moment. And see, I don't want to hear no FBA, no ADOS. I had somebody sit here and say, well, Cory Booker wasted all his breath yesterday. He should have talked about reparations for 24 hours. See, here's how that's even stupid. If you gonna get reparations, that's political. Fact, reparations is money. The Constitution states any bill that has a monetary value that starts in the United States House. Who controls the U.S. House? Republicans. Name me one Republican in the House that supports reparations. Name me one in the United States Senate that supports reparations for black people. So explain to me again how withholding your vote is going to get you reparations when the very people that's going to vote on reparations are the people who elected. See how dumb that shit sounds? This is what happens when we allow Simple Simons to hop on YouTube and hop on social media and feed us with massive amounts of misinformation and disinformation, saying dumbass shit constantly. And we go to the barbershop and the beauty salon and we repeat that sort of stuff. And people go, yeah, they ain't gonna do nothing because I got money. Trump gonna put 5,000. Y'all remember they floated that? Oh, Doge is gonna give every American 5,000. Where is it? When the check you got from Biden-Harris was actually bigger than the check you got from Trump. See, this is the silly stuff I'm talking about. Y'all, we ain't got time for games. So if you come at me complaining about what I have to say, I don't care if you don't listen. Because I see my numbers. And they bigger today than they were 6 months ago. So it sounds to me like a bunch of folk are indeed listening. I'm gonna go to my panel. And I'm laying this out, and that wasn't my plan to do that, but I chose to do so because these things are all connected. So Board G, DEIA consultant, employment specialist out of D.C., Eugene Craig, CEO, X Factor Media out of Baltimore, political says, social media activist out of Knightdale, North Carolina. It's connected. It's connected, Eugene. The local vote, the state vote, the Senate Supreme Court, the state rep, the state Senate, the governor, the U.S. House, the U.S. Senate, the president, federal judge appointees, cabinet appointees. All of this is connected.
It's more than connected, right? Because we can even go back a decade to when Scott Walker gets elected governor. Reince Priebus takes over the Wisconsin GOP and then eventually takes over the RNC and then implements this nationwide, right? And then the other part is this, you know, I'm glad that you laid it out because now people understand why state house elections are so important. Because at the end of the day, even if your state has an independent map drawing commission, the state house still has to eventually accept or reject the map that's drawn and presented to them. And a lot of times, a lot of these state legislatures, they don't want to cede that power to an independent commission.
Ohio.
Florida's another one, Georgia, you know, where they can, where hey, you know, we can still draw our own maps, and then we can draw our congressional maps at the same token. So I'm glad, you know, I'm glad you laid it out. It's a lot happening in real time. I feel like every time we're here together, Roland, especially you know, in the regular Douglas show, that you know the stock market's in free fall. And Trump did some wild, crazy shit, you know, today with the tariffs and whatnot. But guess what? We don't get to a point where Trump can implement tariffs if people did their job in 2024, right? If people weren't, you know, bullshitting on the sidelines, if people actually, you know, went and turned out that one other neighbor, if it wasn't, oh my gosh, she's so bad on Gaza, Biden's so bad on Gaza, when, you know, Trump literally is on the other side ready to say, you know what, blow the shit up and fuck around and let's turn it into a paradise, you know, for white Israelis, right? So, you know, we are still in the find out part of the equation of the fuck around and find out. But it all does go back to how maps are drawn, who has control of power, and who has control to exercise that power. At the end of the day, you know, the judicial route is one of the cures, but we can prevent so we don't ever have to actually go that route.
Yeah, but the point is, Zabor, you can't ignore judicial races. I love when these fools, let me go ahead. I got some little dumbass Leon something like Roland Martin is a paid Democratic shield. No, fool. I'm here talking about black folk. I'm talking about how we get stuff happen. And so I don't really give a damn what you think, because here's what I do know. The Republicans are showing me right now they don't give a damn about black people. Look, we've covered the story. Trump has dropped a lawsuit against the petrochemical companies in Cancer Alley in Louisiana. Who's dying from those chemicals? Black people. Trump has pulled out of a voting discrimination lawsuit in Texas that limited black and Latino voting power. Trump pulled out of 2 discrimination lawsuits in Texas as well, one dealing with housing. So silly, simple Simon-ass Leon, here's what I can show you, Leon 215. I can show you numerous examples how Donald Trump and MAGA are specifically targeting black people, and you ain't saying a damn thing. Zabor, go ahead.
I mean, these local elections, these special elections are just national issues in disguise. Like at the end of the day, our healthcare is under attack, education is under attack, DEI is under attack. Every right that a black person has, and you add all of the intersectionality of having disabilities or having LGBTQ issues, all of our issues are overlapping, and if we don't get out, vote, if we don't organize, I'm at Howard, we're doing things like going in the community and just telling what we know. So it's time for all of us to get out and go do something. So what you gonna do? Are you gonna sit at home and complain and tweet? Or are you gonna learn something? Are you calling your congressman? If you don't know where to do it, go on the app, call 5. Are you looking and making sure you checking the misinformation that's out there? Are you telling people how to do it? They have the new digital green book. Like, people don't even understand the historical things that have happened to us to understand how these things are happening to us right now. And all they're doing with stacking judges and trying to get us to not vote or to not have the power to vote. Our visibility is our power. If you don't get out and do something, tell your neighbor, tell your friend, tell your sister them, your mama them to do something. What are these preachers doing? Where are their town halls? We don't got to wait for a council member to come here and do a town hall. We did one where we were just talking about, hey,
boom.
What are those executive orders? How they impacting us? What y'all gonna do about it? All right, write it down. Write the vision and make it plain. Let me see how you gonna really stand up for your people that you complain about every day.
Yep. See, political says, I had a call last night. Brother asked me, was I coming to Sharpton's National Action Network Conference, which is in New York, April 4th. I said no. One, because I have other things I'm doing. But he told me he was a pastor, and he said that there's a panel on Friday called The Black Church in the Age of Trump. I said, don't waste time with a bunch of bullshit. He started laughing. I said, I'm asking you to do this when you go to that panel. I said, the only thing that y'all should be discussing at that panel on Friday is NAN creating a black church organizing committee in North Carolina to begin right now identifying how many black folks are registered, who's not registered, and beginning a massive education, information, enlightenment campaign, but for the next 7 months, and then preparing for the primaries and taking Tillis out. And let me remind people, Tom Tillis is the architect of the voter suppression laws in North Carolina when he was in the legislature. I said, and y'all should be creating a NAN organizing committee in Georgia. I said, because Brian Kemp is going to be a formidable foe against Ossoff. I said, and that's what it's all about. I said, I don't want to hear nothing else. I said, I'm not interested in bullshit talk that has no purpose. What the board just said, you don't need permission to organize a town hall. You don't need to wait for the Democratic Party or Republican Party or the NAACP or Bishop Barber or the Poor People's Campaign. Regular, ordinary people can simply say, okay, I pull the voting data. The voting data shows in our precinct in the last election, we had 780 registered people in our precinct, and in the last election, 300 voted. That means 480 people in our precinct did not vote. That's more people than the total loss of Sherry Beasley statewide for the Supreme Court. Political sis, this is not a moment for us to be Listen, I love boots on the ground. I love melanated woman. I love Southern soul. But I'm going to dance and educate. I'm going to dance and enlighten. I'm going to dance and inform. I'm down with dancing on Saturday night, but goddamn it, Saturday morning and Saturday afternoon, it's going to be some freedom classes. This is not an optional thing for us. Literally, the lives of black people, the lives of black children, and black children's children are on the line with what MAGA is trying to institute because they want to lock in power and cement it for the next 50 to 100 years. They do not want to see the browning of America.
Somebody asked me why I was so mad, why I'm always going at Tom Tillis. Number one, I can because that's my damn senator. Even though I didn't vote for him, he's still supposed to represent me. But I look at how he confirmed the health secretary, RFK Jr. You know who I thought about? I thought about my 6-month-old granddaughter.
Boom.
Who cannot get the measles shot.
Remind black people in North Carolina that Tom Tillis, as a senator, blocked 3 black women from the federal bench.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. And he does not give a damn about anyone, especially if you're Black. He's been like this. He's always been an arrogant, cocky ass man who doesn't give a damn about anyone but himself. And his ass is not even from North Carolina, by the way. Not at all. But like I said, I think about my 6-month-old granddaughter who can't get the measles shots, but his ass went ahead and confirmed RFK Jr., knowing damn well he's dangerous. He's dangerous to North Carolinian babies, all babies, period. I think about when he confirmed FBI guy. I think about when he confirmed Pete Hegseth. When it comes to North Carolina, we have our state is one of the most that have when it comes to military base. And look what is going on right now with tariffs, like you talked about. He doesn't do nothing but talk. He's not going to do a damn thing. What took place last night scared the shit out of Tom Tillis.
Oh!
It scared the shit out of him.
All of them.
Scared him. You know why?
Come on.
Because they might be screaming, "Oh, Florida didn't do good." Florida, Democrats didn't do good in Florida. Yes, the hell we did. Yes, the hell we did. In District 1, 14 points, right? They slashed that shit. But District 6, 8 points. When Mike Watts, when he won by 32 points. Make it make sense. And we're talking about here in North Carolina. It's not even ruby red in North Carolina. It is purple. And each time Tom Tillis ran, do you know what? He did not win by 10 points, not 9 or 8 points, no more than 4 or 5 points. So he is scared right now. So you best believe the same thing that rich man was doing in Wisconsin, he is going to be doing in North Carolina. And he may be in the skies doing it, but he will be doing it. And trust and believe, Tom Tillis, he's short. Because if he do something in the primaries, he's going to automatically lose. He's going to automatically lose.
Hey, Roland, can I jump in for a second here on this point?
Go ahead.
So this is the thing, right? Where Democrats are right now is exactly where Republicans were. 2009, Ted Kennedy dies. All right, Scott Brown wins that seat and Massachusetts, and then homeboy that ended up taking Obama's seat ends up wins a year later in Illinois. Right? Republicans saw that same margin and then figured out how to actually galvanize it and apply it to across the map in the 2020 and 2010 elections. And let me tell you what that looked like. That looked like FreedomWorks raising $1 million, $2 million per week from both big donors and small donors. And now you apply that across multiple organizations. It looked like nonstop activity. It looked like every day when Fox News and CNN are going into these quote unquote town halls, half of them were astroturf, but the other half were literally pissed off people that just wanted to rebel. And yeah, a big part of that also was a white lash. But Democrats are right now where Republicans were in 2009. But and what you see is this, and at 20 points, let's just cap it at 20. You literally see a wave bigger than what Republicans captured in 2010. You see Democrats probably get damn near 2/3 of the House with that kind of margin. So from here, everyday people can go out and hold their own town hall. They can get their own organizations going. And targeted states like North Carolina and Georgia, absolutely.
And I want political sense. I'm going to go back to you because here's what I need people. I'm not asking, listen to me, people. I'm not asking y'all to launch a new organization. I'm not asking you to go out and raise $500,000. I'm not. If 100 people say, I'm going to touch 25. Everybody listening to me right now, 25 people in your city. You do. If 100 people said, I am going to personally commit to touch 25 people, that's 2,500 people. So now, if that happens in 100 different places around the state, we now are talking about a lot of people. Elon's going to dump money. Republicans are going to dump lots of money. But I keep telling y'all, you might be a billionaire, But if you live in that state, all your ass got is one vote. The multiple votes of low-income, working class people can beat back billionaires any day of the week. Because all they got to say is, y'all keep running them ads, we ain't listening. Y'all can keep putting them billboards, we ain't listening. We going to take your ass out at the ballot box. Political system, this is all I'm saying. And I need people, when I was in North Carolina, vice president, Negroes were afraid to call the black belt. We were putting the flyer, oh no, you're coming to, no, I said, put the black belt on there. It's called the black belt.
They would have came.
See, y'all.
Roland, you know how I feel about Tom Tillis. You know when I sat there and I said nobody's running against him. No one has said anything yet. And here it is, just because next year they want to wait to the last minute to do something. Now is the time to do something.
We got to be, I got to.
I was saying you don't have to start an organization. But here's the thing. Like, TikTok, all that, okay, that's good. Content, okay, that's fine. But you know where I'm more comfortable at is when I'm in my hood, right? When I go drive 2 hours away from where I live, I go in my hood because I know damn well I know more than 25 people. And let me tell you something, people in my hood in Eastern North Carolina, they are connected. They are on it like I've never seen it before. And you best believe now I go on Facebook and I post stuff because they want to stay informed. People will listen. You just have to go to them.
So I want, let me see, y'all, I'm using North Carolina as the example because I need y'all to understand something. So go to my iPad.
We love our North Carolinians.
Yeah, go to my iPad. So I want y'all to look at this map here. I want y'all to understand this map right here. So if y'all I want y'all to look at the center of the map. Y'all see Yanceyville and y'all see Roxborough. So basically what I want y'all, if y'all see at the top of this map, y'all see right there, Roxborough, I want you to split this state in half and go all the way down. So everything to the right of Roxborough, that's a lot of black people. When you start talking about Rocky Mount, Enfield, when you start talking about Fayetteville, when you start talking about Elizabethtown, when you start going,
Greenville.
Greenville. Now, folks, now I'm about to mess y'all up.
Where we went, yep.
The problem is this here. The Democrats in the Harris campaign,
that's where they stayed at.
They went to the left.
Yep.
She went to Greenville one time, y'all. They kept going to see, they keep trying to go to Winston-Salem, Charlotte, which is Mecklenburg County. They keep trying to, that's where they keep trying to go. No, the rich votes in the East. So, forget the campaign. What I'm saying, NAN, NAACP, or forget the organizations, regular ordinary people, if we mobilize East North Carolina, Tom Tillis can't win.
That's why I said, call me. I'm from Eastern North Carolina. I'm from New Bern, North Carolina. Call me. They are there. They Kinston, Greenville. You saw how packed it was, Roland, when we was in Greenville. It was super packed. And you know what I said? I said, damn. Only if they would send her to New Bern, North Carolina, or even, you didn't even got to go to New Bern. You could go to past Greenville, New Bern, Jacksonville. All those right there, even Havelock, just because it's red does not mean that it's not a lot of black folks. It's a lot of us. I know. Trust me.
But they call us minority voters, but we really hold the majority if we use our power.
That's right.
They don't listen to us because we got to show up. We can't be lazy. We got to be strategic and we got to do something. We can't keep just sitting on our hands and thinking, okay, let me be lazy and it's going to change for me. No, freedom come with you doing some work.
Boom.
And that means telling somebody. We had a man drive away from North Carolina 2 weeks ago to D.C. to watch what we was doing. We working with him to try to do town halls at these churches. We didn't have no money. It was just students who feel like, hey, we got to do something. If we in this area, we own soil, we got to make some differences. And young people can still be the thing that make this change. We can make 2028 different if we really educate our people, if we organize. And I'm talking about old school organizing. I'm talking about where's your old school staple a gun? You got flyers on we were in the hood talking to the young men, talking to the people on the corner because they can vote.
Right.
A lot of them can vote. A lot of them don't even know their rights towards vote.
So what you're talking about is what I'm talking when I say educate, enlighten, inform. You have to walk people through the issues. You have to, people say, I don't see it. Well, this is that person. This is their agenda. This is what they want to do. This is what they've done. This is what we can do. But I always keep saying the election is the end of one process and the beginning of another. This is what I'm talking about here. And and then for the people who sit here and now I hope folk now understand what I'm talking about, not just giving to the show, but why I'm fighting folks on the advertising front, because if we get the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 million, 10 million, whatever in advertising, now, we can be in a different town every week. We can have, we're going to do a 5-city tour. We can take the show there. We can mobilize people. We can highlight these stories. This is why, because guess what? MSNBC ain't going. CNN not going. They are not going. So I'm saying to black people, damn waiting and hoping and begging for them to show up. This is our ability to be able to organize it. That night when we had 250,000 folk watching live on March 4th, I didn't do a single black radio interview. I didn't take out a single ad. I literally sent a text message to 6 to 8 people, and they sent to 6 to 8 people, and to 6 to 8 people, and I swear that damn text message was in every black family group chat, and that was all organic. That's the same as voting. It's the exact same. And so somebody's got to be willing to want to do it, and so I just need our folk, because this whole thing started with last night's results. And Elon talking about gerrymandering. Y'all got to recognize there's a reason they want the courts. There's a reason they want to control the state house and the state senate and the governor's mansion, because you can control national politics through the state. We're going to go to a break.
Wait, before you roll, Roland, there's one more important thing that happened last night. Elon also wanted to jump into that race to boost Republican turnout for the Amendment 1, which put voter ID in the Wisconsin Constitution. I don't know the exact link.
Yep, no, it won.
Yeah.
It won. And here's the deal, though. Look, on that point, here's the reality. They had voter ID for 10 years in Wisconsin, but this now makes it harder for you to actually change that. But here's what we have to do. If folk are going to start doing that, then what we got to say is, we got to say, all right, since y'all want to sit in and swing for voter ID, automatic voter registration. The reason Georgia changed, because when they changed the law, 22% of Georgians were not registered to vote. After automatic voter registration, it was down to 2%. That's how Georgia changed. We have to also be thinking differently when we're fighting. I understand the battle against voter ID. We know exactly who they target, elderly people, young people, people of color. But we also got to, when we see something coming on the horizon, we got to be making some massive changes, massive demands for ourselves. I'm not interested in losing everything. I'm also trying to win something. I got to go to break. We'll be right back. Roland Martin Unfiltered, the Black Star Network. Support the work that we do. Join our Bring the Funk fan club. If you want to contribute via Cash App, use the Stripe QR code. You can also use it for credit cards. Click the Cash App button to continue to contribute. You can see your check and money order. Make the check payable to Roland Martin Unfiltered, please. Not Roland Martin, not Black Star Network. please make it to Roland Martin Unfiltered. It makes it a lot easier, y'all. Trust me, with the bank, I'm the one who I'll open every envelope. So please, make it out to check your money over to Roland Martin Unfiltered. P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered, Venmo RM Unfiltered, Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com, Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Back in a moment.
We begin tonight with the people who are really running the country right now.
Now, Trump is often wrong and misleading about a lot of things, but especially about history.
Donald Trump falling in line with President Elon Musk.
In the wake of the unsettling news that MSNBC has canceled Joy Ann Reid's primetime show, The Readout, Roland Martin and the Black Star Network would like to extend an invitation to all of the fans of Joy Ann Reid's MSNBC show to join us every night to watch Roland Martin Unfiltered, streaming on the Black Star Network for news, discussion of the issues that matter to you, and the latest updates on the twice impeached, criminally convicted felon-in-chief Donald Trump and his unprecedented assault on democracy, as well as co-president Elon Musk's takeover of the federal government. The Black Star Network stands with Joy Ann Reid and all folks who understand the power of black voices in media. We must come together and never forget that information is power. Be sure to watch Roland Martin Unfiltered weeknights, 6 p.m. Eastern at youtube.com/Roland S. Martin or download the Black Star Network app.
This week on The Other Side of Change.
The economy is not working. Trump's got trade wars, recalls, the price of groceries are through the roof, and there is a better way, there is another way. Join us as we talk more about it and we reimagine something better on The Other Side of Change.
Only on the Black Star Network.
Next on the Black Table with me, Greg Carr. Brown versus the Board of Education. The history books call it the court decision that ended racial segregation in American schools. But a brand new book, Jim Crow's Pink Slip, uncovers a devastating unintended consequence of that 1954 Supreme Court decision.
We may, if we were lucky, have been the very last generation of Black students to have experienced these generations of Black teachers who have never been replaced.
Dr. Leslie Fenwick joins us to talk about her book and the actions following that landmark decision that dealt a virtual death blow to Black educators. That's next on the Black Table, right here on the Black Star Network.
What's up, y'all? Look, Fanbase is more than a platform. It's a movement to empower creators, offering a unique opportunity for everyday people to invest in Black-owned tech, infrastructure, and help shape the future of social media. Investing in technology is essential for creating long-term wealth and influence in the digital age. The Black community must not only consume tech, we must own it.
Discover how equity crowdfunding can serve as a powerful tool for funding Black businesses, allowing entrepreneurs to raise capital directly through their community through the Jobs Act.
Bruce Smith, creator and executive producer of the Proud Family, Louder and Prouder. And you're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
Hashtag Team Whip That Ass show up today on Capitol Hill, embodied by Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. She did not mince any words when it came to Elon Musk and Donald Trump, but also his Attorney General, Pam Bondi.
Now recognize the ranking member of the subcommittee, Jasmine Crockett.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. And I first just want to begin with a news alert. Guess what? Joe Biden is not the president anymore. So maybe we can move on. Maybe we can move into the present, because it seems like we are living in the past. And listen, these are not the good old days, you know, like you used to sit around and your grandparents would talk to you about what used to happen. What we need to be talking about is how we are going to legislate, because I think that some of my colleagues have confused what our jobs are. And I get that we're sitting in judiciary. And so it may seem as if we are here to be litigators, but we are here to be legislators, which means that we are supposed to be writing laws, not trying to have our own trials and determine whether or not something is true or not, or whatever the case is, or who should be sued, who shouldn't be sued. All I know is that a great American hero, a good senator out of New Jersey, said something to the effect yesterday as he was shattering the record for holding the floor, a record that had been held by another racist in this country. As he shattered that, he said something about the fact that this should not be about left versus right. It should be about right versus wrong. And I am going to tell you that I want us to focus on right versus wrong. The reason that we are struggling right now in this country as it relates to people not trusting agencies, honestly, a lot of it is because of elected leaders. Let me tell you, one of the things that the chairman and I actually agree upon, we don't agree on a lot, is that we both know that there has been a sharp incline as it relates to threats upon our lives. Regardless of what side of the aisle you sit on, we both know and agree that as sitting members of Congress, we both are enduring more death threats than anybody should in this country. And I believe that it is because of the divisive rhetoric, and it is because of the selective enforcement of things. And so when we have, and I'm gonna be clear, because I had remarks and I'm going a whole other way. To have the sitting attorney general go on, and I'm gonna call it faux news. I know some of y'all love it, but it's fake to me. To have her go on Fox News and to then decide that she wanted to send a threat to me, it was wrong. Because here it is, she is the highest law enforcement agent in this country, and people are watching and they are consuming this information, and they are believing that simply because I decided that I wanted to exercise my right to free speech, which I am not abridged from doing, that she then wanted to then politicize something that should not be politicized. I don't like Elon Musk. I'm gonna say it 50,000 times. I don't like him. I don't like that he going out there and he firing people. I think that he's a crook because somehow the rest of us can't sit around and get whatever federal contracts we want. The rest of us can't sit around and get law enforcement and get them somehow ordained as federal law enforcement to protect him. The rest of us can't get our dealerships protected by the federal government. That is somebody that is operating above the law. For whatever reason, just because he has a lot of money, more money than everybody else. And yes, I am happy to see that on my birthday, which is what I said, there were peaceful protests around this world against him because he is a problem. And so you never should have somebody that is sitting that high and is going to sit up here and threaten a sitting member of Congress when she knew good and well, if she watched the entire thing, that I specifically told protesters to make sure you consult with lawyers, just like I've told protesters over and over and over in the history of me advising people to go out and exercise their constitutional right. The fact that there are other sitting members that have received letters of threat from this new DOJ tells me that they are about retribution and they are not about following the law. The reason that our party, or I won't even say our party, our country is torn apart is because we can't even agree on right versus wrong. This should not be left versus right. The only thing that the reason that our party, or I won't even say our party, our country is torn apart is because we can't even agree on right versus wrong. This should not be left versus right. The only thing that we're asking is that we have law enforcement that will show up when there is an actual crime. If somebody calls and says, hey, I need you to investigate this cyber crime, or I need you to investigate this child pornography, or I need you to investigate this robbery, then we want somebody to show up, and we don't want them to look at us and act as if just because I'm black or because I'm woman, that I am not worthy of having that case investigated, because we have an administration that is continuously railing against diversity, equity, and inclusion, or we don't need people that show up that feel like diversity should not be valued. That is why we should have somebody that may show up and looks like me. The final thing that I'll say, because you've been gracious, is this. When I first became a public defender, I had no criminal defense experience. And I walked in and I told my boss, Charlie, I said, listen, you should hire me. He said, why? I said, because I'm Black. Charlie looked at me like I was crazy. And I said, let me tell you something. When I walk in, I'm gonna walk in with a level of rapport and understanding that maybe some of my other colleagues will not. Charlie offered me my job, and I worked my butt off, and I worked really, really hard for all of my clients, not just those that look like me, and that is what it looks like to serve. Thank you.
Oh, I love it when all those folks just real silent, ain't got nothing to say. When Congresswoman Crockett just drops the mic. It's as simple as that. And yeah, she should have checked Pam Bondi, because that child, she spends more time on Fox News she does at the Department of Justice. But that goes to show you, Donald Trump, he's not actually trying to run the country. He wants to run a TV show. That's all this is. That's why Kristi Noem keeps playing dress up and going on all with the Department of Homeland Security, because once she discovered they have all those outfits, she thinks she's on a television show. These people have no business being in power. Unfortunately, they are, because a lot of folk stayed at home and complained and said Kamala wasn't good enough. What y'all saying right now? We're going to go to a break. Same thing happened in St. Louis. The question is, are we going to stay at home and not support Tishaura Jones for re-election as the mayor of St. Louis? We'll talk to leader of Black PAC next, right here on Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network.
Next on the Black Table with me, Greg Carr. Brown versus the Board of Education. The history books call it the court decision that ended racial segregation in American schools. But a brand new book, Jim Crow's Pink Slip, uncovers a devastating unintended consequence of that 1954 Supreme Court decision.
We may, if we were lucky, have been the very last generation of Black students to have experienced these generations of Black teachers who have never been replaced.
Dr. Leslie Fenwick joins us to talk about her book and the actions following that landmark decision that dealt a virtual death blow to Black educators. That's next on the Black Table, right here on the Black Star Network.
This is Tamala Mann.
And this is David Mann. And you're watching Roland Martin
Unfiltered.
Folks, April 8th, Tuesday, big election runoff in St. Louis, be the next mayor. Kara Spencer won the initial race. She is running against the incumbent Tishaura Jones, who was the first Black female mayor in St. Louis history. And of course, we were there with a town hall 4 years ago when she was running. It is going to be a tough race. A lot of money is being poured into the campaign coffers of Kara Spencer. Democrats in the city, they also are backing her over the incumbent mayor. But Jones is getting support from a lot of different places. Joining us right now is Tracy Blackman. Tracy, glad to have you here. First of all, walk us through what your PAC is doing to impact this race.
Thank you, Roland. I appreciate the invitation to be here. The Black Church PAC is trying our best to offer support to the campaign of Tishaura Jones, along with many other supporters in St. Louis area who have been doing the work on the ground for a long time here. We are concerned that in the primary, which should have been an easy race for Tishaura, was not, because there was an influx of money from business people who gave hundreds of thousands of dollars to make sure that Tishaura does not get another term. And that money was used to do slander advertising, to her opponent tell lies about her record. And we saw this work just a little while ago with Cori Bush. And so we're fighting like heck to make sure it doesn't happen again.
So, so what exactly are y'all doing? Are you doing on the ground? Is it billboards? Is it commercials? What exactly are you doing?
The Black Church PAC is committed to doing advertising for Tishaura. We already have other organizations on the ground who are doing the door-to-door work, doing the footwork. I certainly am going to be at the polls, working polls for her. But largely, the Black Church PAC is a national organization, and there's a team on the ground for her. We're just trying to use our influence to motivate pastors and leaders and churches to get out the vote so that she can win this election.
It is going to be crucial. And as I keep saying, folks can pour a ton of money into it, but they only have one vote. And the votes of regular, ordinary people can cancel out rich folk.
Well, that's absolutely true. But as we saw in the primary here, only 17% of eligible voters came out to vote. And the majority of those voters were on the side of town where Cara Spencer is more familiar and better known. And so we are really engaged in trying to move people from apathy in this moment out to the polls to help us Tishaura Jones. She's the third Black mayor in St. Louis, the first Black woman, of course, as you said. And it's ironic that all of the previous two only had one term. And so we want to break that cycle with Tishaura. She's been doing excellent work here, putting money into the north side of St. Louis where money has not been put for decades. And that's some of the reason that the large amounts of money are going into a campaign for Cara Spencer, for people who want to buy up gentrifying land at low prices and then not do anything with it. Tishaura is all about business and all about people. And we are excited about the possibility of being able to grow with her and continue the work that she has begun.
Oh, and see, the thing here that I keep saying this, there's no excuse when we talk about turnout. At the end of the day, we can't complain when somebody else wins if we don't show up. And I'm constantly saying, where you have significant numbers of African Americans, if we vote at 70% of our capacity, meaning the number of Black eligible voters in a particular city, state, or even in this country, if our target goal is 70%, we can dominate elections.
Absolutely. And that's certainly true in this election in St. Louis. But what we're fighting against are people are just checked out. They weren't just checked out of this race, but they were also checked out of the presidential race. And so we have a long way to go to get people motivated to come out. They don't believe that their vote matters. Another thing that I'm concerned about, Roland, that I will say here, is the lack of education that people have about voting. The last two times that I've worked the polls, people show up at the polls not even knowing that they should register before, right? These are just basic civic things that are not taught in school anymore. And so I'm hoping that we as the Black community will take this on ourselves, because we need to, and make sure that we are having classes about what it means to vote, how to vote the entire ballot, how to choose candidates, and excited the process again. There is widespread rampant in St. Louis, but nationally. But I am certainly talking about here.
Questions from the panel. Political issue first.
Hello, thank you for coming on. So in 2021, I know you brought it up, but in 2021, she, the current mayor, she won by in the primaries by 5,000, I think. And then recently, Spencer, what it was almost 23K to 12K. That is scary. But
Yes.
What made me do a double take at Miss Spencer, if I'm not mistaken, and maybe it had already happened. It already happened. The state, the governor took over the local police there. Am I correct?
That has happened now. Yes.
Okay, so Ms. Spencer agreed with that, and all I can think about is what's going to happen, who they're going to hire now. They're going to hire more white police officers, right? Is it going to be more discrimination, going into Black neighborhoods? So that is something that really spooked me, and I just want to know how are the voters aware about that, or no?
Absolutely, the voters are aware about that, and even beyond that obvious grievance, the money that she is getting are from investors in St. Louis who have for a long time bought up property in the north side of St. Louis, which is gentrified, and then just sat on it, right? They didn't develop it. They didn't build houses. They didn't put businesses there. They just sat on it. And the Black side of town has suffered tremendously because of absentee slum landlords in vacant lots or using vacant properties and not doing anything with it. The investors who are giving Cara Spencer the money are responsible for that. And you can't tell me that you put that kind of money in a mayoral race without expecting some kind of return. So there are a lot of red flags. There are a lot of red flags. The idea that many of the things that Cara Spencer in her ads criticized the current mayor for are things that she voted for as an alderman. This person has been an alderman, which is the legislative body for St. Louis, for 10 years, right? And so it's deceptive advertising, it's race baiting, it's playing to the business partners in this area, and it is not for the benefit of the entire community.
Right. And one more thing, you said investors. One more thing, just this elastic. Was it the Black Platinum plan when it came to the investors under Trump? They gave them money.
No, it wasn't the Black. It wasn't the Black Platinum. It's people who have for a long time been buying up dilapidated land, and I don't know why they are just sitting on it, but they are angry with Tishaura because she won't play ball with them.
Zabora?
Thank you.
So my question is, how do individuals that are in those marginalized communities get past voter fatigue and all of the obstacles that are up against them, especially our disabled community that has been struggling in that community for a long time, whether it's the deaf individuals or chronically ill individuals or individuals that have that long-lasting COVID, like they're experiencing these things, and this mayor hasn't did anything to really give them the supports they need. How do they get past that voter fatigue when they feel like nothing is changing?
I hope I'm not talking out of turn. I think this is important to say. It hasn't been a perfect mayoral term, of course, but she has done more than most mayors here, and she's committed to the people. And so I salute her for even in this moment saying, listen, I know I have some things that we need to do better. I know that I need to have some deeper conversations with you about things. We need to explain some things that didn't happen the way that you thought they should have happened. Why is that, and how can we help? But this is a mayor as money to hire lawyers to keep people from getting evicted who didn't have money to get evicted. This is a mayor who helped shut down the workhouse that was dilapidated and really toxic for young people who were incarcerated there. And so I feel that she has earned another 4 years. You can't undo 70 years of neglect in 4-year term. And so in Ferguson and St. Louis, we have an expectation that whatever we think you're going to do, you should do it. And if you're not going to do it, you should come and talk to us about it. That's fair. And I think the fact that those conversations have been had and those agreements have been made, and in the street saying what we know is what we have is a whole lot better than what we're facing. And we're going to place our bets on Tishaura. Now we have to do the work to get them, not just to say that, but to get them from the house to the polls. And we're trying to do that. Some of the Greek organizations are helping and offering mobilization. Some churches are mobilizing people. We have organizations like Action St. Louis on the ground who are going door to door every day. And the Black Church is using our influence to behind the scenes and urge clergy people to have conversations about what's best for this community.
Eugene?
All right, so this is what I want. I want everybody get out the way except maybe Roland, because I'm about to name some names and call some people out. I don't got no questions. I got a couple statements. To Darius Jones and Ashley Bell, because what we're seeing right now is revenge against Tishaura for standing next to Cori Bush last year when the APAC crew and the black folk that run with APAC decided to tap Wesley Bell for that congressional seat. So to Darius Jones and Ashley Bell, you got about a week to figure out how you're going to protect Tishaura. That's the first thing. Secondly, because when Tishaura decided to take over the Bipartisan Justice Center and clean up the mess that Darius Jones and Ashley Bell created, trying to give Donald Trump an award on criminal justice reform behind the entire organization's back, it was Tishaura that came in and cleaned up everything and provided a safe passage forward on the issue of criminal justice reform from a black bipartisan standpoint. So what we're seeing right now is that APAC crew decided to come back and try to exert revenge on Tishaura for standing next to Cori Bush last year rather than the person they tapped. So this is my call to everybody. If you got some free time, connect with her campaign over the next week and make a phone call. Connect with somebody in St. Louis and make sure they turn out to vote. Because at the end of the day, Darius Jones and Ashley Bell, the Republican side and the Black Democrat side that runs with APAC, and essentially is that main primary plug and connection there, are essentially, because the fact that this is happening tells you that they aren't protecting her. I've been around for the last decade. I know it and I see it. We saw what we saw with Jamal Bowman, and people didn't really care about Jamal, so they let it happen. But Cori Bush was one of theirs. Tishaura is one of theirs. And the proof is in the pudding. When the 2020 Leaders of America, which then became the Bipartisan Justice Organization, right? Because Roland, hey, we were the first to cover it when everything went to hell. Tishaura was the one that stood up, handled tough questions, made sure the partners were okay, made sure, all the stakeholders were okay. And now, because, hey, she isn't laying down and getting down and just going along with the quote-unquote plan, now revenge is being exacted. So, yes, when you mentioned that, hey, a Reverend Blackman, that's why I want you to get out the way because I want the heat to come on me, right? They come for me. I want to come for me. When you mentioned that, hey, it's certain players that are funding this, yeah, we've seen this playbook before. We saw it last year. We saw it a couple other places. But my thing is this. There are players that have a quote-unquote seat at the table that can do things like protect a Mayor Jones, who deserves to be protected. She could have had a 20% approval rating. She deserves to be protected. So yes, so that's all. I don't have any questions. I got a couple call outs. So Ashley Bell,
thank you,
Darius Jones, and the other folk that run with Black APAC, y'all got a week to figure out how to make sure Tishaura doesn't lose her election.
Tracy, final comment.
I'm just grateful for shows like this and people who can call out all of the things that are happening. And again, we stand 10 toes down for Tishaura. She is the only choice for us. And we think we're going to be able to turn this around with her and for her. And so thank you for all the pushing that you're doing in that regard.
All right, then. Tracy Blackman, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Folks,
bye.
Going to a quick break. Ooh, when we come back, now we all know that Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, we know she stank trash. Wait till we show you her racist ass ex-husband. How he attacked these young Muslim women for praying quietly. You're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Show Network.
This week on A Balanced Life, join us as our resident experts and special guests talk to us about what it means to protect your peace. I know you say you got it all together, but let me tell you, life be lifing. So we're going to talk about how do you find who you are? How do you find your lane? How do you stay in your lane? And what it means to really date you, to look in the mirror and find out who you are and love the person that you see.
When is the last time you said I love you to a loved one? When is the last time you said I love you to yourself?
That's next on A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie here at Black Star Network.
What's up, y'all? This is Wendell Haskins, a.k.a. Win Hogan at the Original T Golf Classic. And you know I watch Roland Martin Unfiltered.
Boy, these racists, they sure are emboldened by this idiot Donald Trump. Take the ex-husband of Marjorie Taylor Greene, Perry Greene, driving his trash-ass dumpster known as the Cybertruck. These Muslim women are praying, and he decides to verbally attack them. Y'all want to see just despicable? Yep, this is the trash that Marjorie Taylor Greene said I do to.
That's really good. Don't go back to your country because y'all believe in crazy. Question your authority. Go back to your country, please. Okay. We don't hold y'all. That's perfect. Thank you.
Did we bother you personally, though?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. You can.
But see, like, y'all want to kill gays. Y'all want to do all kind of crazy. Where are y'all from? What country?
It doesn't matter where we're from. It does not, though. Why does it matter to you, though?
It does, because you're worshiping a false god.
No.
Yes, it is.
Are you Christian? All right, that's. Okay.
Don't come from your crazy countries and act like you're gonna bring your here.
Okay. Cool, bro.
No. Because y'all are pieces of
Okay, that's perfect.
You're the one attacking little girls.
Have a nice day.
Girls, like, I want y'all to think about what y'all's process is, what y'all are thinking. Y'all been brainwashed.
We know what we believe.
But don't come to America and believe this. Go back to your country and believe you're crazy.
Okay, that's fine. No one told you anything. We're sitting here. We were quiet. We were peaceful.
You're worshiping out here.
Praying. What does that have anything to do with you?
Go back to your country.
That's fine.
You're demolished Middle East.
First off, we're actually born here. We're born here. Yes, we were.
Why are you wearing all this? You're not American.
It doesn't matter.
Be American.
Don't nuns wear covering themselves?
Be American. Don't be Afghani or whatever the
Not even.
We're not Afghani.
You're literally racist. You just it doesn't anything.
It doesn't matter. Use the racist word, but be American. Don't be.
Okay. I'm sorry if it's not on your standard. You can go ahead and leave. I don't know why you're wasting your time. Okay, then if you don't care so much, you can go ahead and enjoy your day. Okay.
Because you know what? Your countries are so. You know where y'all are from is so. Don't have to come here. Go back to your.
I can call the cops. If you're gonna keep harassing us, that's fine.
What are you gonna call them about?
Just go about your day. What's the point? Are you gonna follow us? What's the?
I'm trying to get out.
Do you want to learn about our religion?
Go back to your country.
Have a good day. Have a good day. That's okay. That's okay. Just leave him alone. Go have a good day, bro.
They are praying, minding their business, not sitting here, and this racist, go back to your country. See, this is what I need people to understand. We talk about this country. When we talk about how people view this country, y'all have heard me say this before. There's a movie called The Under Shepherd. And The Under Shepherd was directed by Robert De Niro. Robert De Niro starred in The Under Shepherd, along with Matt Damon. And in this movie, it is based upon a fictionalized version of the creation of the CIA and how the CIA was created by these white Anglo-Saxon Protestants, and how these white men, the Dulles brothers, how they established this secret society coming out of skulls and bones to create the CIA. And there's a particular scene in this movie where Matt Damon and Joe Pesci are talking, and Damon's character goes to see Joe Pesci, and he's trying to get the mob's help, and this is loosely tied to Castro, trying to get the mob's help to assassinate Castro, which actually happened in real life. And in the scene, they're talking, and Pesci poses a question. He poses a question to Matt Damon. And in this exchange, if you want to see what America is all about, if you really want to understand what these people actually think about non-white people, we played for y'all, I guess it was last week or maybe 2 weeks ago. We played the clip of J.D. Vance, where J.D. Vance was talking about these European values. Oh, and if you come in, you've got to have the right, view of America. See, people like him. See, I know somebody may be saying, "Oh man, that dude was a racist there." Oh yeah, he's a racist. But understand, the racism that he is projecting, that racism is coming from a particular place. And for these people, how they view this nation, they view everybody who is not white as other. They don't view black people. They don't view Latinos, and they don't view Muslims. They don't view any of these people as full Americans. No, their view is you ain't one of us. See, that's why they are so quick to tell us, go back to where you came from. That's why they're so quick. You don't like it? You can leave. They love using that language because, see, in their minds, this is theirs. In their mind, this is all theirs. That's how they view this. I'm gonna play this clip in a second. But that political sense, that's how they view. This ain't out of the ordinary. This is how they behave, and there's no shock that Marjorie Taylor Greene was attracted to that.
Well, they have something in common, so we can't be surprised about that, Roland. They have a lot in common, them too. Remember when David Perdue said that to Stacey Abrams when she first ran, I think, for governor? And remember, I don't know if you all know, but Abraham Lincoln, after the war, he told, black folks, hey, you go back somewhere. I forgot what he said, go back to.
No, actually, Abraham wanted. Listen, it was Liberia. It was Liberia, and he held that view because he said that I just don't believe that these two sides are going to be able to get along, and so he articulated shipping black folk back to Africa. Right. Yeah.
But it's funny, but this was after the war, right? This was after the war, he says that. Well, we don't need y'all anymore. But like they said, they responded, no, this is our country, this is where we're from, and beneath is our ancestors. It's our ancestors. So, I would have said something. I'm pretty sure I wonder if this was during Ramadan, because that just ended. But I would have looked at his ass and I would have said, I will go to my country when you take your ass to your country first. That's what I would have said.
See, it reminds me.
Puzzled because he doesn't have a damn country.
Eugene, it reminds me of Patrick Bet-David when I was on his podcast and he tells me, well, why do I go back to my neighborhood and fix things? And I'm like, looking at him going, your ass ain't even from here. Why don't you take your ass back to Iran?
Yes, I saw that.
It's the audacity and caucasity, right? They say, to the point of MTG's, I guess, husband, ex-husband. They say, there's no more reflection of who you are than the person you decide to marry, because marriage is probably the ultimate business. That aside, the audacity and the caucasity. These folk that, think that they just have infinite dominion over wherever they are and over whomever is around. Black folk, Native folk, folk of color built this land, point blank, period, and are still building this land, point blank, period. And the thing is this, like I said, I'll go back to wherever when you go back to wherever. But at the end of the day, the result that neither of us are going to go anywhere. So, you could just stay your happy ass over there away from me and my people, and we call it a day. Keep it civil, keep it peaceful.
Well, I just want, again, we know who these races are. We know what they sound like. We know how they think. We know how they act, how they appear. We know all of that. But Zabor, to sit there and watch this man just attack them because they have a different religion, when, fool, we have freedom of religion for a reason.
No, but it just shows you their lack of respect for the Constitution. When
No. They don't. They love the second. They can't stand the first.
No, it's so.
They love the second. They don't like the first.
When it comes to us, this is why our community paying attention is so important. They're attacking birthright citizenship. They're saying in this, how he's moving is the exact reason of why we got to stay vigilant. If they attack them birthright citizenship and the 14th Amendment, and they're trying to put holes in that aspect of the Constitution, then you see them doing things like this, and that rhetoric is pushed to the front. That's not Christianity. That's not the faith I know. You know what I mean? It's like you are ignoring humanity in people. You are ignoring loving your neighbor, and nobody's from here. We were brought here. They stole here. It's like, how dare you tell somebody that they're not from America? You don't know those people. And everything about our country has been built on the backs of people that are not from here. There is no country without Black people and the inventions we have, the work we do, the blood, sweat, and tears that build the houses and the White Houses that they get to be in. So it just really irritates me that they use faith to justify hatred. Those young ladies wasn't doing nothing. That old white man that has no couth, no respect, and attacked a person while they're praying, but you say you are of God and you're a Christian. Like, how that work?
So the movie is The Good Shepherd. And I'm telling you, if y'all are looking for an example that encapsulate America in 1 minute and 7 seconds, and actually, if you actually edit it, it's really 47 seconds. It's this.
The government's about to deport you for certain activities.
I'm in this country since I'm 2 months old. Does that make me Italian? I'm American. And they're trying to send me back?
I could have the deportation order reviewed. I'd be classified as highly sensitive for national security. I could take the government off your back if you can help us.
Usually the guys that scare me. You're the people that make big wars.
No, we make sure the wars are small ones, Mr. Palmer.
Let me ask you something. We Italians, we got our families and we got the church. The Irish, they have the homeland. The Jews, their tradition. Even the niggers, they got their music. What about you people, Mr. Carlson? What do you have?
The United States of America. The rest of you are just visiting.
That's exactly how they think. The rest of you, this is ours.
Yep.
The rest of you are just visiting. Pull up my book. Understand something, y'all. The reason why I chose this photo for my book, White Fear, this photo is from January 6th. This white man's arm is outstretched. This photo signifies all of this is ours. And that literally is how they operate. And they feel as if they have the right to roll up on a few Muslim women praying, minding their own business, to accost them and say, go back somewhere else. That's why they believe they have the right to roll up on somebody black barbecuing in the park saying you can't barbecue here. They think that they have the right to roll up on a black man who's working for UPS or FedEx delivering packages saying you can't be in this neighborhood. They really believe that they have the right to walk up to you and ask, why are you in my neighborhood? Let me see. They believe that they can just ask you, show me your address to prove that you belong in my neighborhood. And they believe that when they see us, especially being a black man, and if we wearing some university gear, they don't even first think, did we graduate from there? They instantly think, did we play ball? Or like one white dude asked me, did I play ball at Texas A&M? I said no. His second question was, did I have a child that played at A&M? Y'all, it took every ounce of Jesus when you had to cuss his ass out. I was like,
I would have did.
Literally like it took it took all of Jesus for me not to go there. Because in their minds, they don't even think, oh, that might be a graduate. They don't think that. Tomorrow, I'm gonna get to this here. Man, there was some white folks, y'all, on Twitter, and they whine and complain, and Charlie Kirk got involved. My son got high grades, and he didn't get into his first choice, the top schools, or the second choice. And these white folks really believe that their children can just go to any school, that they should never be rejected, that all of that, and they automatically think it got to be them. It got to be them. They never consider, no, your kid lost out to some other white folk. So I am going to spend a little time walking through the timeline. You know, I was trolling their asses because see, y'all, I am the pettiest member of my family, but my family members can be petty too. Like the oldest sister, she was with a group of moms, and she was sharing with them that my nephew, her son, had gotten accepted to Seton Hall. And so one of the white moms said, well, you know, my blonde-haired daughter, you know, she's not gonna get, you know, a scholarship like that. And my sister said, well, baby, we were at the welcome reception. There's a whole bunch of people who look like your daughter who were there, who were blonde-haired. She said, so maybe your daughter needs to study a little bit harder.
Hey, there you go.
Meritocracy, right? They gotta work harder. They gotta pull themselves up by their bootstraps, right? This is a meritocracy. We don't care about DEI. That's what they say, huh? Until they realize they are the DEI hire, right? They the ones that are not qualified. They are the they not even DEI hires. See, you could be a so-called DEI hire. You still got to have a resume.
Yep.
Oh no. They are absolutely white privilege hires. It don't even matter. So I had a ball just hitting them back, and I'm saying all of you should be downloading Scarface's song "No Tears."
What you know about that?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Where is Scar? Where? Hold on. I'm confused. I'm confused. Wait a minute. Somebody act. Wait, you gonna actually say?
This kind of girl, you know, you from the other side.
How you gonna sit here and say what I know about Scarface's Scarface?
What say about it?
I'm on a show, and I just mentioned your song, No Tears. You hear me?
That's your favorite song. You always listen to No Tears.
Dude, and I mentioned it, and one of my panelists go, what you know about that song?
Y'all, he called Scarface, y'all.
First of all, what she don't... No tears in the end. And what she don't understand, I'm so petty, I played golf with Scarface, y'all. Scarface was talking a whole lot of trash. And I played golf with Scarface, and I was beating him. And you know what I put on for him? No tears. He said, "You hit me with my." He said, "You hit me with my own damn song."
I just tell him.
All right, my brother. I'm gonna hit you back.
All right, baby.
All right, peace.
That was so bad.
Baby, don't ever. I don't know who you thought you were talking to.
I said, y'all, he called his Scarface. I mean, I was just checking your temperature, seeing where your head was at. Right?
Baby, I'm the last one you ever want to check.
I know. I stand corrected, no problem.
No, baby, this the super phone.
I ain't mad at it.
You throw some names out, I can FaceTime in them heartbeat. I'm just letting you know. So I am the last one. I'm the last one you want to say that to. All right, we got to go.
I am dead on that one.
Somebody said.
That's later in the night.
They in the chat said, "Girl, you lost that one."
Quickly, right? Yes, she did. Fast. Whoever said it in the chat, yes.
Another dude said, "Man, he got dude on speed dial on them folks."
Speed dial.
And El Crispy, Uncle Rose said, "Pull up." See, y'all better leave me alone. See, y'all.
There you go. There you go.
Said pull up.
Y'all better leave me alone. All right, we got to go. All right, I appreciate y'all being on today's panel. Thank you so very much, folks. Support the work that we do. Join our Bring the Funk fan club. Cause see, ain't nobody at MSNBC, CNN, Fox News, ABC, NBC, CBS gonna call Scarface live on the show. They ain't gonna do that. They ain't gonna do it. When we had Roland with Roland, go watch my Johnny Gill interview. And he mentioned that he wanted to do a gospel song with John P. Key. See, he never met John P. Key. Boom. Go ahead and watch my Matty Rich interview when he said in 20 years he never got a chance to thank Spike Lee. And boom. Man, I can be here all day. Anyway, y'all support the work that we do. Join our via Cash App. Use the Stripe QR code. It's right here. If you're listening, go to blackstarnetwork.com to check it out. And if you want to contribute via Cash App, also you want to send a check of money or to make it out to Roland Martin Unfiltered, please. Not Roland Martin, not Black Star Network. Please make it out to Roland Martin Unfiltered. Send it to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. PayPal R Martin Unfiltered, Venmo RM Unfiltered. Zale, Roland at RolandSMartin.com, Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Download the Black Star Network app, Apple phone, Android phone, Apple TV, Android TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Xbox One, Samsung Smart TV. Be sure to get a copy of my book, White Fear, How the Browning of America is Making White Folks Lose Their Minds, available bookstores nationwide. Download the audio version I read on Audible. Also, of course, be sure to get out Roland Martin Unfiltered Black Star Network swag. Go to rolandmartin.creator-spring.com. Get our newest shirts. Hashtag we tried to tell you, FAFO 2025. And don't blame me, I voted for the black woman. QR codes right there as well. And get the fan base app. You can also, if you want to invest, $11 million has been raised. The Series A round, the goal is raised $17 million, then it closes. Go to startengine.com/fanbase. Folks, that's it. I'll see y'all tomorrow. April 3rd, tomorrow, anniversary of Dr. King's last sermon, Mason Temple. An absolutely amazing sermon. I did an interview with the book author about the book was on that last sermon. We're gonna run that tomorrow because I got the book right over there. But it truly is an amazing sermon. So we'll have an interview for you tomorrow as well. Lots we're gonna talk about. I'll see you tomorrow. Holla! Black Star Network is here.
Oh, no punch!
I'm real revolutionary right now.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, there's a difference between Black Star Network and black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?